Welcome to EntrePods, the most cutting-edge podcast for entrepreneurs and investors. We answer the hottest question today. So now what? We are radically civilized with a focus on durable solutions that make the most positive impacts in your business, financial, personal, and community life. The world right now belongs to entrepreneurs. Today, we'll show you through our expert conversations that matter, the limitless opportunities you have right now to live the life of your dreams. The best version of you and your business starts now. Welcome to EntrePods.
Hello, EntrePods. I am really excited that you're here with us today. This is Jennifer Gligoric, your host, and today's guest is going to provide a ton of value. He's a total animal in what he does, and for the last 15 years, all he does is help people sell their business to get the highest valuation possible. He has built and sold his own businesses, and this is all he knows. So we are going to dive right in today and get a lot of really juicy value from Chad Peterson with PetersonAcquisitions.com. So Chad, welcome to the show. It's great to see you.
Yeah, it's great to be on here. Let's do this. Let's give your audience what they want.
Okay, great. Well, a lot of people right now are going through a lot of weird times, and people are going back to the drawing board. And I know I've been helping them out as a consultant on what do I really want? What is my path of purpose? And let me refocus that either in my business or maybe I need to sell what I'm doing. So when you talk to somebody, do you also, should they think about, if you're in business, when should they, and I already know the answer to this, I think, when do you think a business owner should think about selling their business and start putting that plan into place?
Well, the best answer is to plan on selling your business the day you start it. But here's the thing. When you start your business, you must have such a high level of passion to start your business, pretty much obsession. If you're not obsessed, at least be passionate. And so it's hard to think about selling something whenever you're trying to build it, but you should always have it in the back of your mind. But to answer it a little more accurately, every year that you go to do your taxes, you should check with a qualified broker like myself and just check in and say, hey, what's it worth this year? What's it worth, in a year from now? That way you're always keeping tabs on it. If you work it so hard that you burn yourself into the ground and then you want to sell it, oftentimes you become the biggest obstacle and you get in the way of selling your business because the passion is gone. And now the numbers start going down because where there's no passion, there's no profit.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Many times I'm brought in just to fix that one problem. I've got to peel owners away from working inside of their business because they become blinded by work, to pull them out to work on their business outside of it. And many times it's just having to pry open their little fingers and to take work from them and say, let's look at your effective hourly rate. So why are you focused on sending emails? That is the lowest and least used of your time.
For sure.
You can afford to get somebody in for this, because if you would just focus your expertise and your passion on things you actually like to do and get somebody else to do it, you're going to make more money. And
right.
So when they talk to you about that, or these are some of the things that you counsel people who are looking to get an exit strategy and plan for their business in place?
Well, yeah. I mean, the first thing that I do is I figure out what's going on with the owner and why they don't want to continue doing it. It's if you're really doing well, that's the time to sell. But you have to weigh that against your own internal passion. And then you have to, a lot of people are wanting to sell their business because, to your point, they're not running their business properly. They're doing things that are not high value activity. And so it's wearing them out. Whereas if they could delegate some of that out and really do what they're good at and get passionate about one avenue or two avenues within their business that they know will be high value, then they can turn the thing around and maybe not sell it. I go through those psychological experiences with the sellers to see if they're wanting to sell for the right reason or the wrong reason.
Okay. What do you think is a really good reason for someone to sell their business?
Okay, that's a great question. The biggest reason that somebody wants to sell their business is because this isn't their last stop. There's a reason that I don't work at that car wash anymore. When I was a kid, there's a reason I'm not mowing grass. It's because I moved up. I don't need to do this forever. Here's the problem. Businesses and success is like electricity. Too much electricity and the electricity will hold you to it. Okay. So if somebody has held on too far for too long because this finally works, because really a lot of times anyway, not in my case, but in a lot of cases, success comes because of failure. you've worked your ass off and then it doesn't work. You work your ass off again, it doesn't work. And then finally this thing works. And so you hold on to it, and now the business is holding on to you, and neither one, you're not letting go of it. Okay. And that's a danger. What somebody has to realize is now you can sell your business, you can move on to the next chapter of your life, your next adventure. And now that you have that liquidity, that dry powder, that equity, the money to put down into the next business, you can go from, let's just say you're making $500,000 in your business right now, but you've worked your ass off for 10 years. You can sell that business, take your 500 grand that you're making, sell your business for, let's just say 1.5 million. And you could literally buy a business that's making you 1.5 million every single year. So that's why you want to sell. You want to have that dry powder, to be able to go buy the next company. And we sell businesses from, $500,000 all the way up to $100 million. But so I just use those numbers arbitrarily. But the reason you want to sell is so you can move up. People don't live in their starter home the rest of their life. Okay. And you wouldn't go into your house and say, well, wow, I'm finally a homeowner, I'm just going to stay here forever. No, you live in that house for a while, you move up. That's what you do.
Some people do, though. Some people do that. I mean, some people do that. But if you have the personality trait where you don't want to, then you need to move up. Also, too, I'm just going to put this back into why this is good for the world, right? So if you're a type of person who, we're talking, there's a lot of mentality around let's do the right thing, since we're being failed on so many other areas, governments and politics and like this. So let me tell you what great opportunity you're doing for the world when you sell your business. So you're at one point, you're kind of getting good, you're going to get burnt out, or maybe you're already burnt out, but the business is still doing well. You need, as a social service, to sell that business, make a ton of money, and get that other business, because you're selling to you 10 years ago. And now you're giving this opportunity for somebody young, a millennial or a Gen Z, to come in, revitalize it, and have a chance they never would have had they not been able to go into that business that you're selling them. So think about the resale market and how really that helps out so many people by having a resale market, by having products that you can use and then they're still good and now you can resell them. That's an entire untapped market, and it helps. Who does that help the most? Upper, lower, and middle class people. So when you're thinking about things, it's not just something that people think to do if they're elitist. I want everyone to be thinking about selling your business, everyone thinking about moving up, because you're dragging other people with you. It's like one of the greatest things that you can add to the economy, because you've created something of extreme value that you can be proud of. And now other people can take that passion and take it to total new heights, and you had something to do with it.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, absolutely. Very well said. So I wrote a book called Swinging Doors, and your audience, if you want to go to petersonacquisitions.com, your audience can get a free download of that book. And the reason that I named it Swinging Doors is exactly what you just mentioned. So there's always going to be somebody out there that is living in hell. They've got 8 bosses. They're living in corporate America. They want to have the opportunity to buy a business, and they need that opportunity. And so to your point, these sellers need to keep in mind that, they don't need to stop here. They don't need to hold on to this electricity that's holding on to them. They can sell this, let go, and move up, and then give somebody else the opportunity to bring new passion and new vigor to it. So I really, really like your point there. I think that's a very well made point.
Well, really, I just happened to stumble upon your point, because unfortunately I didn't read that book, but I'm going to go read that book. Again, I'm going to go get Swinging Doors, and I'm going to go to petersonacquisitions.com, and I'm going to read it too, because that's exactly what I think. I think anytime we can take something, make it better than sell it, we're dragging along a bunch of other people, and we're providing so much value. It's just amazing. And then we're able to go into something else that revitalizes us, gets our blood boiling again, and gets us what we need for our next stage of life. So, and when you're talking, when you're in this process and you're meeting with a business owner and they're like, yeah, I needed my plan, I need to be able to sell this business, what do you think is the most challenging part of that you actually work with business owners on?
Well, the most challenging part of it is probably value, because everybody believes that what they have is of higher value than what it truly is. And so what we have to do is we have to help business owners understand what their business is really worth from a debt servicing perspective. So if the bank won't finance it, for what they want to sell it for, then it's not going to be it's going to be a deal killer right out of the gate. You have to sell your business for what it's actually worth, not what you really want to sell it for. So getting sellers over that hump is usually the biggest hurdle. Secondly, is just dealing with all the emotions that people go through by selling their business, the ups, the downs, the challenges. Oh, we didn't get to close. Well, there's final last minute negotiations, things like that. Those are all things that cause problems inside the transaction. But what you really want to do is hire a broker who has a take no prisoners attitude, who will work his ass off and isn't an order taker. That's what you want in a broker. And there's brokers out there like that, not very many. That's why I'm in this business. I got in this business because I built 6 companies of my own. I sold them through brokers, and I was, the efforts were lackluster, to say the least. I mean, you've got to get with somebody who wants to work their ass off, who's going to get it sold, and they are out there. But that's what I bring to the market, and that's why I've been recognized for the work that I do, because I'm relentless and I don't quit until the job's done.
Guys, I can't tell you how important this part is. I actually happen to know a business coach who is a broker, she's retiring right now, but she spent her whole life fighting against business brokerages with huge mega corporations, talking Merrill Lynch and the other ones that have their own brokerages. And they basically have a standard form. You come in as a business, they basically tell you what it's worth. They give you this plan. It has nothing to do, very rarely, with your goals in your life and what you're wanting to do and how you're wanting to structure the money, how you're wanting to structure the deal. And I'm talking about people who are realistic about their business valuation and are okay with all of that, because how that business broker works with you to get to your next goals is critical. It's the difference between walking away going, this blows, this isn't going to help me do any of the things I wanted. Because some people sell a business to get into another business. Some people sell a business because they want that money to leave a legacy for their kids. Some people leave that business because they need to travel for a little bit and they need like instant liquidity and they can't have it tied up in something else. So don't just go with the name. Go with someone who's really going to fight for you and fight for your business, but also tell you how it is. You don't want smoke blown up your butt on one end and end up with a deal and you go, wow, this isn't really what I wanted, because they just wanted to close it. You're a number. They have 5,000 people coming in through corporate, and they're this one guy of this big machine, and they're just checking this list off to get to their next one because that's their job. Right. So there's a big difference between that. What do you think is the biggest value add when you work with a more personalized business broker than, what do I want to say, the megacorp machine?
Well, you kind of already touched on it. I mean, the corporate machine is just that. There's going to be a lot of people involved, but there's not many decision makers in it. You're going to be in the corporate world. You're going to be bit by the political correctness. You're going to be bit by everybody having set limitations on them, and all these things have to be signed off on. Everything has to be so formal. When you work with somebody like me, it's just more of an intimate experience, then you hire me to handle it for you and you trust my judgment. And so we don't take so many steps just to get something done. It's no different than a DM, go to the DMV. I mean, how fun is that, right? I mean, you're in this system, you're in this mess. Okay. It's like get a number and wait in line. But if you have a personalized custom service, it always feels different. And that really is the difference.
And for I know y'all are mostly listening to us on the radio, but for all of you who enjoy our YouTube, enjoy our videos that we spin out on our various platforms, you're going to know immediately Chad's the type of guy that's going to keep things under control when you see his beard. I'm just going to tell you right now, go look at the epic beard he's got. It is completely groomed to the nines. No hair is in place. He's got it chiseled down to like this font. I don't even know how to say it.
To a font.
That's how it is. I'm like looking at this beard going, man, when you get a little bit older, you're going to be like the most violent looking Santa. Like kids are going to be like, may I please have a toy?
Well, it's the hair, it's the hair and it's the beard. I got a unique look, you know. You know what? It has served me because people remember me.
Yeah, that's a good, actually, that would be a good logo. I mean, you want the beard guy to sell your business for you. You just do. Like, Chad walks in and everybody just, the other team just like throws their papers and go, well, we got to give this guy what he wants. I mean, if he can tame wild face hair like this, we just got to give him what he wants. Anyway, so why does, and some people are just going to try to sell their business on their own, but why? It's kind of like a house, guys. You're going to need a broker for it. So talk about the things a broker does that people don't get if they get either on their own or with someone else. So what are actual services people get? And not just the services, but tell me, what are the questions a business owner really needs to ask and the types of responses they need to hear to be able to pick a broker, even if it's not you?
Well, it would be all too predictable for me to tell you that you must hire a business broker because I'm in that space. And of course,
Right.
I would want to do that. But the fact is, I mean, this is absolute fact. OJ Simpson would not be out of jail if he didn't have the dream team. If he tried to represent himself, we know how that case would go.
Right.
If you can pull your own teeth if you want to, but you go to a dentist. You can cut your own hair if you want to, but you go get that done. Okay. You can do lots of things if you want to. It's just not a very wise idea.
Mhm.
I have built and sold 6 companies of my own. I never sold them myself. I had a business. I actually sold 2 businesses while I was a broker, and I did not try to sell them myself. I sent them to a broker to sell. Even though I know how to sell a business, it's a terrible, terrible decision to represent yourself in court, to do your own dental work, to do your own brain surgery, and to try to sell your own business. You're too emotionally attached to it. You cannot make logical decisions. You can't say the right thing at the right time to get the thing moving. You can't get out of your own way. It's a terrible, terrible idea to try to sell your business. Don't ever try to do it. You're getting in your own way, and it's 10 times harder than what you think to sell a business. If you try to do it on your own, you're going to fail. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to get tired. But most of all, and this is the most important thing of what I'm saying right now, most of all, you need to run your business. You're not in the business selling business. You're in the your space business, whatever it is you do for a living. So you need to keep doing that. If you don't do that, your eye's going to be off the ball. You're going to be spending more time trying to sell your business than running your business. And what's going to happen to your numbers when you're doing that? Your numbers and your passion are going to go down. And whenever that buyer doesn't follow through with the purchase of that business, you're going to lose heart. Heart is all you got in this life, and you gotta maintain your heart. So if you try to spend all your money, and you're spinning your wheels trying to sell your business and it doesn't close, your numbers are going to go down. Your passion is going to go down. And for what? To save a few bucks when a broker could sell it for more price anyway? It doesn't make sense. As far as the questions that need to be asked, was that to the broker? Did you ask me?
Like how would someone vet a broker? So when you know a business is serious, okay, so I'm sure you're just like me. Every now and then we get tire kickers, even though I have really great funnels that try to kick out the tire kickers before they even get to me. There are people who are just asking questions, but I always know the questions people ask when they're hot, they're serious. They really know what they want. They have already determined I could possibly provide it, and they're just figuring it out if it's me that they want. Right? So what are the types of questions that need to be asked for savvy business owners? Like, don't forget to ask a broker this. If they can't answer it, they're not the one for you. Questions like that they may not ask.
Well, it comes down to, and I know what you're asking me, it's a fantastic question, but I think I want to answer it the most genuine way I can. The fact is, you want to get with a broker who's aggressive. Every one of your questions need to be surrounding that. Okay. How much are you going to work on this? How motivated are you to do this? What kind of buyer pool do you have? But I'll tell you this, on the flip side of that, I also don't bring on every client. I fire clients and they don't know it. Okay. Because if you're not serious about it, then I'm not serious about it. And if you're not an equal component to my value that I bring in selling your business, in other words, if I can't count on you to sell it, then we might not have a deal. In other words, I need to make sure that you yourself are going to be a good teammate for me, the guy who's actually selling your business, to be able to accomplish this. Nobody wins a basketball game by themselves. There's more players on the court than just one, and in this case, the broker and the seller, they're just teammates. That's what they are. So every question needs to be about, how are we going to play together? How aggressive are you? How bad do you want to win? And then that needs to be matched by you as the seller.
Right. And I think that this is really important for you guys to do, because some people are going to be turned off by this. Well, then maybe Chad's not the broker for you, but that's okay. The thing
That's
is,
okay.
you have to know you. And you
Yes.
have to know what you want and where you're willing to go and the type of person that you're going to want to have. When it's right, you'll know it's right, and you'll have that thing that we talk about, synergy. You'll feel that buzz. You'll feel that thing. They're answering your questions. You don't feel like you're pulling teeth to get something from them because y'all are in alignment. And,
Yes.
and sometimes that won't happen. And think about it from your own perspective in your own business. There is not a single business selling widgets or whatever where you're not trying to repel the customers you don't want, shoplifters. Let's say you're a retail and you have to sell everything. You're at Walmart. There's still all these things in place to repel the people they don't want and to get the customers that they do want. Right?
What a wonderful point. What a wonderful point you make. That is so wonderful. And how you framed that. That's great. That's exactly what I'm saying. Not everybody is for me. And if your audience wants to go look at my videos on YouTube, I tell people, maybe I'm not the right broker for you. I'm only as serious about selling your business as you are. And I'm not here on this podcast to get business. I've got plenty of business. I've been ranked the #1 broker in the country by several publications. My work's been mentioned in Forbes, Inc., Fortune magazine.
Okay.
So, but it's true.
I love it.
So I'm not here to get business. I'm here to educate your audience on how to approach a broker. And you said it best. You have to get with somebody who's that aggressive, who's that competent and that willing to do it. A lot of business brokers out there, they make good money and they get satiated. Okay. Now, whenever I started doing this, whenever I became a business broker, I said, I'm going to be the #1 business broker in the country. Now, I obviously had a different goal in mind, didn't I? Now, if I've got a goal to be the #1 broker in the country, that there's a lot of context underneath that statement. Whereas other business brokers might say, I just want to close 2 or 3 deals a year and be playing golf by 2 and having cocktails by 3, or whatever it is. You have to know who you're dealing with whenever you talk to a broker. And I'm the kind of guy, I literally work 7 days a week, not because I have to, but because I want to. And so I'm that serious about this. And so is my team. My team works 7 days a week. So we work hard, and that's who we are.
So in that same vein, let's say I'm serious about selling my company, but there's other things you look at too, like my marketing strategies and my online reputation. Tell me about some of the things you're looking at to vet companies and what you would consider like, this is a company I really would love to sell this business based on what I see. And then this is a company I wouldn't. But let's talk about the positives. So what are some really positive things someone can do to start getting their company ready in terms of online reputation and marketing strategy?
Well, online reputation is always good, but you have to have that. Okay. I mean, you don't let your reputation slide, because that's a deal killer. But let's just say you're not, let's say online, you don't have the greatest website. You don't have the greatest presence. That's fine. Leave it alone. Because whenever you go to sell your business, if you're showing that you're making $500,000 or $600,000 a year and there's something that you're not doing right, then I can present to the buyer of it, hey, you buy this business, get this website up to the 21st century, get it up and running, put some marketing into it, change some things, you've got some growth there. But let's just say you've been making X amount of dollars, let's say you've been making $500,000-$600,000 a year for however long, you want to sell your business, and you're like, well, I need to get my website looking better before I sell it. Well, now you've made your website better right before close, and now I can't really present to the buyer that there's holes in the operation, because I'm not looking for a business to be perfect to sell. It just has to be making enough money. And if I can sell the business based on deficiencies, that's sometimes better than selling a business that's 100% operating.
Boy, that's completely opposite of what I even thought it would be at first. So that's interesting. That really changes things. So that'll be interesting. I think I'm actually going to utilize that in some of the things I work with clients too, because my job is always come in and fix it all. And I did not think about it from a business broker perspective. Of course, usually I'm not doing they're not telling me I need to sell within 3 to 5 years, but that is an interesting concept. If they are, then I would take, as the consultant getting them to that stage, I would not invest in those things. I would say, okay, well, this is what we can can do that just are on income. And then we can talk about, these are the things we know that can be built out that are really going to take it, because we're only looking to sell it. So that's interesting for me. So hey guys, here EntrePods community, we just learned, I learn every single day. I talk to experts like Chad. We're talking to Chad Peterson at petersonacquisitions.com. And here I just learned something brand new. And I've been doing this for over 20 years, not to date myself, but yeah. So that's interesting.
Yeah. So the easiest place, the safest place to hide a dead body is on the second page of Google. Right. So nobody searches the second page of Google. Right. So if I want to sell a business and I'm ranking on the second page of Google and the seller says, well, maybe we should get my website up and running. Let's get it on the first page. I'll say, don't. You're already making plenty of money on the second page of Google. If I can sell your business and people can say, man, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Boom. Now you got a reason to buy.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And that's a very interesting selling point that I wouldn't have thought about before. When you talked about nobody will go on the second page of Google, I'm like, unless it's a woman that's wanting to date someone, then we will go 15, 20 pages down, because we all become CIA agents then. The stalker comes out in us all. Anyway, guys, we're actually getting to the end. So let me try to wrap up what we've talked about. So if you're thinking about selling your business, you're going to want to be serious. You're going to want to really vet your broker. You're going to look for personality. And the number one thing you can do is probe the broker on how aggressive they're going to be. And you're going to want to make sure your personality matches that, because this is a partnership. This is the name of the game. You're going to be working on your business and you're going to be trusting someone to sell the business. Don't try to go it alone, because what you'll do is you'll end up getting less money than you ever would have gotten before. You'll be stressed out and it's not going to go your way. It's just like trying to represent yourself in court. It's a very, very bad idea. You really do need a broker for this process, and don't try to fix everything that's broke. Consult with your broker first, because sometimes leaving a couple of things the way they are and keeping operations strong and sales strong through the process is actually the better deal. Is there anything that you can think of? Oh, and when you want the book Swinging Doors, you have a freebie for our EntrePods guests, because Chad is cool. The beard is cool, and he's going to give us a free book, and we can get that at petersonacquisitions.com. Is there anything else that you can tell us before we go?
I would just re-encourage your audience to, every time, we know every year you have to get your taxes done. Every time you submit that paperwork to your accountant, once your accountant gets everything, gets all the numbers on the paper for your tax returns, you should be sending that to your broker and say, hey, what do you think the value is? Every single year, you should know the value of your company. That's what I want to leave your audience with most.
That is actually a very good idea. And that is something I'm going to put in my little arsenal as well, because that often can be a very game changer. Because remember, swinging doors, if you give that opportunity to someone else, now the whole world's opened up for you in ways that you can't even imagine. Well, guys, this is the end of our show. We've been talking with Chad Peterson again at Peterson Acquisitions. There is a lot that came out in this conversation. I learned something new that I never even thought of before. So it's opened my education up, and I hope it did with you as well. Please be sure to like, comment, and share like you guys always do. You're a great, great audience, and give us that 5-star review. We can't keep on getting the nation's #1 business broker, people like Chad, on here if you don't keep on reviewing us. For those of you who are new and you want to hear more, go to EntrePods.com, and you can search us on any social media at EntrePods. Will pull up every type of media you could even think of on us. Anyway, you guys have a great week. It's tap for people after your taxes. Go get your businesses evaluated so you can change your life and change somebody else's. Thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening, and please go give us a 5-star rating on your preferred listening platform if you enjoyed the show. This helps us reach more listeners like you and keep booking amazing guests. If you'd like to join our growing EntrePods community, want our social media links to like or share, or inquire about one-on-one strategy calls with our host Jennifer, please visit EntrePods.com. See you next time, and here's to you and your best life imaginable.